Welcome back. You're listening to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan. Our first guest today is Traci Lynch with Simply Stage Design. Traci's a native of Washington with a passion for decorating and making houses homey. That's awesome, homey. She spent her career in technology, but then decided to follow her heart and passion in home decorating and staging. She loves to transform a home and enable a potential buyer to see the new options on how to utilize a space. Welcome to the show, Traci.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, we're glad you're here.
We often, we're going to jump in and talk about your business, but what are your hobbies and interests when you're not staging?
Well, I, along with my husband, we're pretty active. Mm-hmm. We love to play tennis, as my knees will attest. I probably play a little too much. Like to hike, and just recently we bought an RV and have decided to,
awesome,
when business is slow, to take a few trips.
Awesome. Have you been anywhere fun lately?
We went down to Colorado and back, and in a few weeks, maybe the end of the next month, we'll go over to Glacier National Park.
Oh, I'm going there.
Are you?
Yeah. The week of the 8th.
Oh,
yeah.
Such an awesome place.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We don't have any concrete plans, but I'd love to sleep in your RV. Is that okay?
No problem, as long as you pay for the hotel.
Is it bear-proof?
Bear-proof, yeah, right.
It should be.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great. So we like to ask each guest to share a fond memory about the home you grew up in.
Oh, all right. Well, I grew up in the quintessential split level.
Oh, yeah.
In Bellevue. And so there were, green shade carpet.
Nice.
Yeah, Mom had plastic on the couch. Yeah.
Plastic on the couch.
We weren't allowed in the formal living room. But yeah, I mean, it was, probably not the top house favorite for home buyers necessarily. However, it suited our, 4-kid family really well.
What part of Bellevue?
Over right by Sammamish High School.
Okay.
Over by 40th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's kind of tucked away. It's a development that's been there for obviously a long time. But, now, of course, the homes are all being renovated and added on to, et cetera. So.
Yeah. Can you believe the value that home you grew up in is at?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you who's shocked is my father.
Yeah.
He keeps talking about the $28,000 that he spent for our split level. And
right.
Now
does he still live there?
No.
Oh, okay.
But, he every once in a while I'll snap a picture of it and send it to him, and he'll just be like, okay, well, it doesn't look any different. I'm like, yeah, but it's $900,000.
Right.
Or something like that.
Amazing. Yeah. That's what I love about real estate is you see the incredible amount of wealth that can happen in a generation owning a home.
Absolutely.
So how did you get started in the staging industry?
So my first career was in technology sales, and I was, it was great. It's a nice income. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And along the way, and I guess I should say along the side, I was helping friends decorate. I was remodeling. I've bought and sold, and not necessarily flipped, but remodeled homes, probably 10 homes in my life. Mm. So I really enjoy it because not everybody likes that process. And then a few years back, we redid our kitchen, and my husband said, you really should start a business because we can't just keep redoing all the rooms in our house. So I kind of took that as a jumping off point, and I just went ahead and took some classes and started a business, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a great choice.
Awesome.
I think you partially answered the question I have is about how you got started. What classes did you take?
I just took a few design and sort of spatial type design and color classes. But I think when you have a passion and a love for what you do and it just makes you happy, that's 90% of it almost. I'm not doing open heart surgery.
Living the life you love.
Yeah, right.
Well, and I think the staging business is one that by the public it probably doesn't understand. And I know I say that sounding a little arrogant, but it's subtlety. It's you come in, you clean up, and it looks like, well, I don't know, it feels good, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the idea, right? And most people, I don't think, recognize that it takes education and then a natural ability, in my opinion, which I have none.
Yeah. I think it does help to have a little bit of an eye.
Yeah.
And I think what people probably don't understand is that nationally, the statistic is that staged homes sell 70% faster.
Right. And
now
for
maybe
more money.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And I think people in our area think, oh, well, my house is going to sell fast. Well, it's if your house and the guy next door is selling that, and you've got things that are nice, but not necessarily current, and there's a lot of clutter or this and that. It does make a big, a huge difference.
So, I'll throw you a bit of a curveball here, but what's the difference between staging and decorating?
I think for most people, staging is like their props. I'll just call it that way. And from a decorating perspective, I think that's to me is the finishing touches, right? It's the, making sure your bookcases are neat and staged properly with a few knickknacks, but not too many. And so, decorating your home is great, but I think when you stage, it has to stay that way.
That's true. Yep.
Brian and I know we get this from all of our stagers. Don't move the stager stuff.
I know.
It's staged. It's like a theater, right?
Yeah.
It's designed to tell a story that's in the stager's eyes. And they get very upset if you move their pillows, okay? I'm just saying, don't do it.
Oh, funny.
Spoken from somebody who accidentally moved it during an open house and got chewed out. So anyways.
There you go.
Background before staging?
Well, I graduated from college with a Parks and Rec degree. Very useful in staging. But I think that kind of lends itself to being creative and maybe a little bit more of the non-traditional, which I think that it's not, you can't go into a house and do a stage based on what you like necessarily, right?
Gotcha.
It's got to be the theme of the home, the area, just a lot of factors. So my background was, not traditional in that sense. And then, I sort of flipped the switch after I semi-retired, and now I'm doing what I really love to do.
Awesome. What do you love the most about the business?
Well, I think I really love that whole before and after thing. I just really gets me going. I mean,
Yeah.
I did a house recently, and the people, I think they were skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, well, just, come back tomorrow. And, and then they came back and they were just, I think, kind of wowed, and that's a good feeling when people like what you do. It might not even be their taste, but
Right.
it's like, but this is going to get your house noticed.
Well, and Tracy, you did a stage for us, and the sellers were a little like, I don't know. They were like that.
Yeah.
But during the open house, they had some neighbors come by that they knew, and their neighbors gave them feedback. They're like, oh my gosh, it looked great. The staging was great.
Yeah.
Right? So it's oftentimes, that's why I said, sometimes the owners, they don't know what's going on.
Right.
And it's not because they're naive. It's because the process of staging is like theater. It's
Right.
telling a different story.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it has to be, it sounds like everybody says this, but it does have to appeal to a broad audience.
Yeah.
So
Tell us one of your best staging stories.
it was actually my very first stage. It was for a house out in Union Hill, and it was probably, they'd lived there for 40 years.
Wow.
Built the house, wasn't updated, which is sometimes challenging. And they were very nervous, anxious about, first of all, moving,
Yeah.
and it just was
First-time
it was
home sellers.
very much so, very emotional. And, it took me probably 3 times as long to do that job because they were there a lot,
great.
and we sat and chatted and had a cup of coffee and but at the end of it, they were so happy and, of course, relieved to be out from under the burden of a big house. Kids are gone and all that. So that was a nice, it was kind of a part therapy, part staging.
So why are you so passionate about it?
I have no idea. I just really have always enjoyed it. Like when I'm at my, I guess, happiest is when I'm kind of, I'm switching some lamps out. I need to change
Yeah.
some bedding, even if it's in my own home.
You're doing your thing.
I totally am. And
That's great.
my family calls and says, hey, can you help me over here? I'm like, sure, of course. I should charge them, but I don't.
Bottle of wine or something.
Yeah.
So what differentiates your staging business?
I just think I take the extra time. I think anybody can, slap in a few pieces of furniture, but I really do like to take the time to, make it a little bit better. So, for example, worked with a realtor recently where she and I were literally painting the fireplace together. It was an older home, and we just got in there and, changing light bulbs, patching holes, and, I don't mind doing that. I really don't.
Okay. So what is the biggest misconception about the staging profession?
Well, first of all, it seems like a lot of people leave it to the very last, which is not the good thing because stagers are busy.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks is good. And then I think a lot of people think they shouldn't have to stage, that their stuff's good enough. And sometimes you just need a fresh look for your house.
How do you decide what to use in a stage?
I really look at the house itself, mid-century, modern, neighborhood. Is it mostly families? And so I really try to, make that sort of number one. And then number two is I like to follow the trends, not be the trendiest, but just make sure that it's relevant.
Yeah,
That's what I try to
it's
do.
kind of going along the lines of current staging
Right.
looks,
Exactly.
which I can't keep track of. What's the criteria between, say, a partial stage and a full stage?
Well, a full stage is usually the preference of most stagers, which is the house is empty.
Yep.
Nobody's living there because, again, this is props. People
Right.
aren't supposed to use the stuff. But I've done many partials. I think a lot of stagers won't do them because there's a little more of a risk and stuff. But I did one recently where the gal she wanted the bedding in her master room replaced, and so I said, look, no problem, we'll just buy it and you can buy it from us, and that way there's no, she doesn't have to take the bedding off at night to use
Right.
it. So that really is good. So it's really partial, using some of the homeowners' goods, so to speak, and then bringing in to augment.
Awesome. So how can people get in contact with you?
So simplystage.design is my website, and my phone number is 425-442-0339.
Awesome.
Traci, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
After the break, we have in studio Kelly Richardson with Rowley Properties. We'll be discussing Issaquah's quality of life. Stay tuned after the break for more.
Not sure if now is the right time to sell? Worried you missed the market? The Eastside Real Estate Team specializes in helping homeowners maximize their equity when selling. With our proven premier listing service, our clients have sold their homes for more money in less time than the competition. We know you have many choices when working with a real estate agent, but with the Eastside Real Estate Team, you get a team of highly qualified, experienced agents. From staging to deciding if your property is market ready for top dollar. If you're considering selling, call the Eastside Real Estate Team at 425-200-4093. Or check out our website at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Create time for what matters most by locating your business in Issaquah. The 2005 Northwest Poplar office building is designed with that very purpose in mind. Rowley Properties is pleased to announce this new office building is under construction. Located at the gateway to Issaquah, just off I-90, exit 15 with I-90 visibility. It is designed to be iconic with its sustainable cross-laminated timber and illuminated glass staircase, promoting a healthy work environment. It's adjacent to Tibbetts Creek Greenway. The setting and design inspires productivity and innovation, a place to let your nature begin. Conveniently located near all the amenities today's workforce desires, like dog daycare, childcare, multiple fitness options, meeting rooms, hotels, restaurants, a brewery, recreation, and more. Tenants will have an incredible forested mountain backdrop and access to parks and hiking trails out the back door. It's within walking distance to the Issaquah Transit Center. The approximately 70,000 square foot 4-story building will be owned and managed by Rowley Properties Incorporated.
Did you know that on average, staged homes sell 70% faster than non-staged homes? At Simply Staged, they help you escalate your goal of selling your home fast. Whether you are looking for a refresh of your current home or trying to prepare for selling, Simply Staged has you covered. They won the Best of House 2019 award. Their work won in the customer service category, as their portfolio includes some of the most consistent reviews on House in 2018. At Simply Staged, they go above and beyond to ensure they listen and prepare your home to appeal to a broad audience. If you are thinking of preparing your home for sale or just want some fresh decorating ideas, contact Traci at Simply Staged at 425-442-0339 and visit their website at simplystaged.design.